All right, we're back. And I'm going to show you how I edit another photo. Shocker, I know, right? Sorry, I've been so MIA. There's been a bunch of shit going on in my life. Good stuff, but also it's been keeping me very busy and I haven't had time to do these videos. Here we are, back with another edit with me photo. So, today we're going to edit this purple R8 in City Park. First things first, this is the raw photo. Obviously super flat, very bland, but you can see the car pops and it looks really good against the green background. And I'm going to show you why. These are called complementary colors. So what a complementary color is, so we have purple, I can't explain it, but anyway, whatever's opposite to this is what's going to pop the most. So here we get the greens. Like this is more the color spectrum that is the background, and then these three colors are more the colors that are of the car. So obviously the exact opposite would be these three, but you know what I mean. Anyway, first things first, obviously it's too dark. I'm not a moody photo kind of guy. I'm a bright and vibrant and like look how sick these colors are kind of guy. So we bring the exposure up. You know, I'm gonna just crop it right off the bat here. 4x5 for Instagram because you will get the most real estate with that. Okay, so one thing that I did consciously when I shot this, you'll see in the foreground there is these little purple flowers. Yeah, that's right. I sniped those when we showed up. And I was like, hey, these would look sick in the foreground because they match the car. And I think they did. It looks pretty cool. So what we're going to do next is exposure's already up. These blue light glasses throw my white balance off a little bit, so I'm just going to bring the white balance up just a touch, just a little touch. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so next we're going to bring the highlights all the way down just to see what we're working with. Yeah. I'm actually going to leave those down, and then when I select the subject in a few minutes here, we're going to bring the highlights back up. So the car can, Juno. I wish I could show you my cat. He's fucking just on his back. He was being a little shithead a minute ago. But he's such a good kitty. He's such a good kitty. Anyway, I'm going to turn the contrast up a little bit. Yeah. Here, I'm going to skip over a couple of these for a second because I'm curious what they're going to look like. Bring the vibrance down, saturation up about 50% in both directions. No, this wasn't an invitation to come play. Yeah, see with greens, I find that can be a little too much, so we're just going to do 25% on these. And then I'm going to come down here and bring the saturation in the greens down just a touch. And we're also going to bring the hue of the greens closer to blue. And then that's still a bit much. We're going to bring the saturations of greens down a little bit more. Maybe even the luminance slightly, which I don't normally do. Yes, well, I'm okay with that for now. Okay, so we'll come back up here. I'm going to bring the shadows up, I don't know, 50-ish%. Shit. Sorry, I have my live feed to the camera on my phone so I can see if it's still recording. One time oh yeah, we're good. One time I didn't have that up and I recorded a video for 45 minutes only to find out that it stopped recording. So I was not about to let that happen again. Okay, so shadows are up. We're going to bring the blacks down a little bit and then the whites up a little bit. You guys are always so fucking weird in the comments when I say that. It's not about racism, okay? It literally says blacks and whites, so cool your jets, all right? Bring the exposure down just a little bit here too. Yeah, I fuck with that. Okay, I'm gonna come down here. What do I want to do? I'm gonna bring the denoise up a little bit too. And I'm also gonna bring the sharpness up. This one's not as bad. Like in the other 488 photo, you get a lot of the noise in like the blacks in the photos, not so much in colors. But the other car was obviously all black, so you noticed it a lot more. This, like, you can see it's there, but you don't really notice it too much, so I'll just slightly bring that up. Vibe. Let's play around with some of these. So we'll introduce some blue into the shadow, but this isn't like a moody shot like the other one was. There's so much green in this photo that I want to make it a little warmer. So I actually do like the blue in the shadows. I find that gives it a little bit more of just a better look. But I'm going to introduce some warmer tones into the highlights as well and see how that works. Let's go to the extreme and see what it really does here, and then we'll back it off as much as we have to. Yeah, see, that's a bit much. So we'll bring this back down to like here. Yeah, okay. I'm all right with that. I'm going to bring the white balance up just a bit. Okay. I think I'm pretty happy with the overall look of the photo. Now we're going to open up the masking tool. We're going to select the subject. As usual, Lightroom does a fantastic job of that. So this one, it doesn't need a whole lot. Like, I'm pretty happy with how it looks already, but I'm just going to get super picky here just for your guys' sake so you understand my workflow. Because if I didn't show you this and I did it, it wouldn't be fair to you. So I'm going to turn the exposure up just a bit. Okay. Now, I've noticed lately people are starting to do this, but they're overdoing it. You got to understand the human mind and our perception and, you know, our photoreceptors, whatever compartments and decompartmentations up top here are doing this. You can look at something and understand that it's not real. It doesn't look natural. Like this, if I were to just leave it like this, yeah, it looks cool, but it looks a little fake. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at that and you're like, it looks sick, but something's off. Maybe it's just me and I look for this stuff. I don't know. Call me crazy, but when I edit my photos, I want people to look at them and not even question it. They're just like, fuck, yeah, that's a sick shot, you know? Just the perfectionist in me, I guess. So now I'm going to turn the shadows up a little bit too, because I lose a little bit of detail in the wheels. Yeah, and now we're going to bring the black down 20-25% or so. I'm like on the fence if that's too much. Okay, I'm going to bring the shadows, I'm going to back them off a little bit, bring them down like 8 to 10 points or something. And then I'm going to bring the black up about the same amount. It was just a little too artificial looking for me. There we go. I'm a lot more happy with that. And then what I'm going to do is bring the overall exposure on the whole photo down basically back under 1. It's too much. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Like, when I do this, what's going through my mind is if I'm looking at this and if I scrolled through and saw this on Instagram, would I think it's sick? That's where my head goes. And it's kind of hard to do that. It takes a lot of practice. So I just turned the exposure up a bit too. It takes a lot of practice because it's your own photo. Obviously, usually you would think your own photos are sick, right? It's a hard thing to... It takes practice. That's all I'm going to say. It takes a lot of practice because detaching yourself from your own artwork and becoming completely unbiased in pursuit of bettering yourself and in pursuit of perfection of your craft is a tricky thing to do because, like, I look at an image and I'm like, fuck yeah, that's like, that is sick. But then there's the critical part of me that's like, it could be better, where I see basketball nets and I see lights and I see bright orange in the back and people and chairs, and we're going to get rid of all of that and we're going to make it really clean so that people just focus on the subject. You know what I mean? Yeah, you do, because I explained it fucking awesome. I'm pretty happy with that. You know what? It's pretty sick. Maybe I'll turn down dehaze just a touch. Just a little bit. Just to give that little bit of extra pop. Okay. We're good. That works for me. No, it doesn't. We're not done. We're going to go back to the subject and we're going to go down here and add some texture and a bit of sharpness. See, these are the things. Like, I normally just do this unconsciously. I go through and I look at it and I know exactly what I have to do, but when I'm explaining it, it takes a little bit more practice. I hope I'm doing a good job. Let me know what you think. All right, I'm stoked on that. That looks fantastic to me. Except the greens are still a little too blue. I wanted to bring that down a bit because they do look a little artificial. And sometimes it's not a bad thing. Like, you can make a photo look artificial, but I don't know. maybe it has to do with because the car is purple. Like if I look at my color wheel, that color of green is farther away from being a complementary color against purple. So I think that's why my mind's just like, it doesn't really work that good. Anyway, okay, right click. I'm happy with it now. We're good. Right click, edit in Photoshop. Also, if you guys fidget or anything, I used to vape and I used to smoke, but I quit. So I needed something to like fidget with. These things are unreal. They're called infinity cubes. The only reason I don't do it when I film these videos is because that's all you would hear the whole time. But pick one up. If you don't know a place, I got a place. DM me, I'll hook you up. We're back in Photoshop. I'm just gonna do what I said I was gonna do. We're gonna get rid of these. And I'm going to do my best over here. I don't know how much of that I need to get rid of, but we'll get there when we get there. Click L. We're going to zoom in just a bit. Hold space, click and drag your photo to where it's the most comfortable for you. And then we're just going to highlight around all of this stuff, right? Right. Now get as close to the car as we can without touching the car there, because when we come back around, this is where you really want to zoom in and like make sure you're not messing around with the lines of the car. So you want to get as close to the body lines as you can without actually touching the car. Otherwise, like I said, it's going to change the lines of the car. If you're like me and you pay attention to all the details, you will notice the tiniest little shift in the line of the car, and your mind will pick that up and it'll drive you crazy. Even though other people don't see it, we're crazy like that. This is how crazy you have to be in order to be the best. And I'm not saying I'm the best, but I want to be. So I pay attention to this kind of stuff. Command, zoom out, and then generative fill, generate. As usual, I unsubscribed from that mailing list yesterday and I'm still getting mail from them. That is pretty greasy. Okay, for this one, super simple. We're just gonna hit J. So if you wanna make it bigger and smaller, obviously you can go up here and adjust the size, the feather, the spacing, all that stuff. But there's like the little brackets that look kind of like this. You just bigger, smaller. Shortcuts are a fucking lifesaver when it comes to Photoshop. So we gotta select both of these, right click, merge layers. There, now we can do it. Okay, no one's gonna see that pole, so I don't even need to bother with that. Okay, we're gonna do L again. I'm gonna play around here and just see what Photoshop does. If this gives me a huge headache, like it doesn't bug me that much because it was obviously taken at a park and there's people around and it just kind of adds to the vibe of it. But if I can just get it so there's trees and stuff, I'm gonna do that because I think it looks a lot better. But my camera cuts out at half an hour. Yeah, see, super simple, a lot cleaner. A lot more natural looking. Boom, I'm happy with that. Now we'll try for this side. This is the side that's going to give me some issues, if anything does, because it's lined up against the car, right? Actually, you know what? We're going to get rid of that. We're going to start here, come down this tree line. And then because I just want to keep the sand, I'm not going to go all the way to the car here. I'm going to keep the sand. And we're just going to go over here. And then we're going to go up the windshield of the car. Yeah. Oh, man, my neighbors must think I'm fucking nuts. And sometimes my window's open when I burp like that. I've had people outside yell, "Excuse you." So you know what I do? I take a huge swig of bubbly and I do it again. I try and burp even louder. Because I'm in the comfort of my own home. And I can do what I want to do in here. And if that means belching as loud as I can because I have a competition with myself to see how loud my burps can be, then that's not their problem. Okay, now zoom back out. This will be interesting. I'm curious to see how good of a job AI does. Like earlier with the other photos, sometimes AI is unreal. Other times it just is completely useless. I'm exhausted. I haven't taken a day off the gym in like a month. So I need some rest. But so I really like this one, but I'm going to go and generate another one off of this. So essentially what this will do These are the three options it gives you. If you click on one and then hit generate again, it's going to give you the closest. It'll like basically regenerate, but with the closest bit of information to the choice that you selected, if that makes sense. So see how it's super similar, but then it does some dumb shit, like it just pulls neon green out of nothing. Yes, that's what I like. Somehow it generated the actual exact lights that are there. That's pretty impressive. So I'm going to select all of these again. We're going to merge the layers, and this is destructive. So if you want to go back and change that after merging the layers, you can't. There are ways around that, but I don't normally care enough to play around with it. So if you want me to, I can do a video on that and we'll go in full depth. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway because you guys need to know it, but it's just not a priority at the moment. I'd rather teach you how to do all of this first. Also, if you're wondering how I select straight lines, so I'm on J instead of L. So J is the brush. I will click, and then you go to where you want it to end. You hold shift, you hit click again. And then it does a straight line for you. And then there's this little bench over here. Oh, I don't like that. So we're gonna hit L and just highlight that instead. Generative fill, generate. All right. Fucking right. I'm happy with that. Just make sure I didn't forget anything. Command S. Bring this bish back into Lightroom. I'm also going to add a section on export settings and what I use, which, I mean, I'm not an expert in export settings. An export in settings. But I'll show you what I use, and it works pretty good for me on Instagram. It's not like super, super high quality. But then there's also Topaz, which is a whole nother ball game. Maybe we'll do that. I'll make a video on Topaz. I got 5 or 6 more photos to edit. I'm going to pick my favorite one, and then we're going to run it through Topaz, and I'll post it and see what you guys think. See if it was worth $300. I don't know. I bought it, and I've used it like twice. Because I'm an idiot. And just like that, we took this bland, dark-looking photo, this purple R8, and made it pop and cleaned it up and made it look like this. This is how I normally, when I do my Instagram stuff, I don't obviously have the edited photo at the beginning, so I got to record the intro at the end of the video, and sometimes I forget. So this is what I'll normally do, right? So it's off, or this is the raw one. So this is how I took this photo of this R8 from this to this. And then I'll do a couple different ones. So like, today I'm going to show you how I edited this photo of this Audi R8 from this to this. And I tend to look at the screen, but I know I need to look at the camera because, you know, otherwise I'm looking off in the corner and it doesn't make sense when someone's watching it. Anyway, that's it for this one. Fuck yeah. Oh, I tweaked my shoulder this morning. Fuck. Don't do military press. Fuck's sakes. Anyway, that's it. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video.